on top, and in case they want a TTI custom Benelli end head off, easily.
Let the Chancellor blow it.
Hey guys, today we're diving headfirst into the sleek, brutal, and surprisingly graceful world of Ballerina, the much-anticipated John Wick spin-off that proves revenge is a dish best served with pirouettes and a lot of bullets. We follow Rooney, played by the incredibly talented Ana de Armas, as she waltzes, or rather, stabs her way through the criminal underworld, seeking justice for her fallen family. This isn't just a tale of vengeance. It's a symphony of calculated chaos, a ballet of brutality, and frankly, a masterclass in looking effortlessly cool while dispatching foes. I put a lot of work into these, so if you like what you see, a like and a subscribe is always appreciated. No worries if not. Our story kicks off with Rooney, real name Eve, honing her deadly craft, not just as an assassin, but as a true ballerina. The elegance of her movements belies the trauma simmering beneath the surface. She trains relentlessly, each plea and developing a muscle memory of both artistic expression and lethal combat. But beneath the grace, a raw wound festers, the memory of her entire family, the adoptive orphanage collective, brutally murdered. We see quick, almost subliminal flashes of sudden explosion, a silhouette falling, the metallic clang of a weapon hitting the ground haunting her every move. This tragedy wasn't just a random act. It was a targeted strike, a message from the high table's shadowy corners, or perhaps a rival faction. She's not just grieving. She's calculating, meticulously piecing together the fragments of that fateful night, fueled by a singular, burning desire for retribution against those who took everything from her. Her world is one of shadows and silent pacts, where every step is a potential dance with death. Our determined prima ballerina needs more than just raw anger. She needs intelligence. Her first stop takes her to a bustling, neon-drenched night market, a labyrinth of illicit goods and whispered secrets. It's here she meets the Whisper, an old contact, a grizzled information broker who looks like he swallowed a few too many secrets and possibly a broken glass bottle or two. The air crackles with the sizzle of street food and the low hum of 1,000 conversations, but Rooney only hears the steady thrum of her own pulse. She approaches the Whisper, who's tucked away in a dimly lit stall, surrounded by antique radios and forgotten gadgets. Their exchange is quick, almost imperceptible. She hands him a pouch of gold coins, the universal currency of the John Wick universe, naturally, and he, in turn, passes her a tiny, encrypted data chip. There's a moment, a fleeting glance, where you can almost feel the weight of their shared past, the unspoken understanding of a world where trust is a luxury few can afford. He warns her, his voice a gravelly rasp, that the path she's chosen is fraught with peril, hinting at powerful forces at play. They're not just ghosts, Eve, he murmurs, his eyes darting round. They're very much alive and they don't like being disturbed. A little cliche, sure, but effective. The chip contains the first crucial piece of the puzzle, a name, a location, and a chilling connection to the night her family died. It's a breadcrumb, but in this world, a breadcrumb can lead you to a full buffet of revenge. The data chip leads Rooney to an abandoned steelworks, a monstrous, skeletal structure of rusting metal and shattered windows, bathed in the sickly yellow glow of distant city lights. It's pouring rain, of course, because what's an infiltration without some dramatic precipitation? She scales the exterior wall, her movements fluid and silent, each hand holds a practiced choice. The metallic clang of her boots on the corrugated iron is barely audible above the drumming rain and the distant rumble of thunder. Inside, the air is thick with the scent of damp rust and decay. Eerie echoes bounce off the cavernous walls. Rooney navigates the treacherous interior, a maze of gantries, conveyor belts, and hulking, broken machinery. This isn't just a factory. It's a tomb, and she's its newest, most unwelcome guest. Her target, a mid-level enforcer named Kirill, is rumored to be holed up here, managing a black market arms deal. Kirill isn't just any enforcer. He was one of the first faces she recognized from her nightmares, a fleeting glimpse into chaos. The building is guarded, naturally, by a small, heavily armed contingent. Their flashlights cut through the gloom, their voices a low drone. Rooney moves like a ghost, using the industrial clutter for cover, her senses heightened. The scuff of a guard's boot, The metallic click of a weapon being readied. She hears it all. She's not just breaking in. She's dancing through their defenses, a deadly, silent performance on a stage of industrial decay. The tension is palpable, a tight knot in your stomach as she closes in on her prey. Within the steelworks, the hunt truly begins. Rooney's balletic grace translates into horrifyingly efficient combat. She moves from shadow to shadow, a spectral figure. A guard rounds a corner, his weapon loose. Before he can react, Rooney is there, a blur of motion. The subtle whoosh of her arm, the glint of a garrote wire, and a silent, choked gasp as he collapses. No dramatic heroics here, just cold, hard efficiency. She drags him into the darkness, his body disappearing as if he were never there. Another guard, distracted by a flickering monitor, is met with a swift, bone-jarring blow to the back of the head. The crack of his skull hitting the metal floor is sickeningly muted by the rain, but the impact is undeniable. She's not just fighting. She's performing a deadly, minimalist piece. She systematically clears the path, each kill a calculated move in her deadly dance. Finally, she locates Kirill, who's barking orders into a satellite phone, oblivious to the silent carnage unfolding round him. Rooney strikes with lightning speed, a blur of motion, disarming and subduing him before he can even register her presence. A quick, brutal interrogation yields little, but as she searches him, she finds a hidden compartment in his jacket, a small, encrypted data drive. This isn't just another breadcrumb. It's a whole baguette, promising a deeper dive into the conspiracy. The metallic clang of the drive as she pockets it echoes in the suddenly quiet factory with the new data drive in hand. Rooney knows there's only one place to go for decryption and, perhaps, some much-needed context, the Continental. Because let's be real, where else do you go when you're an assassin in distress? The hotel's grand, opulent lobby is a stark contrast to the gritty steelworks. She walks past the usual assortment of immaculately dressed killers and shadowy figures, each seemingly ignoring the others, yet acutely aware of every movement. Winston, ever the stoic gatekeeper, is behind the front desk, his gaze piercing as Rooney approaches. He greets her with a somber nod, a silent acknowledgement of her return to a world he knows all too well. It's clear he's aware of her mission, or at least its general, violent trajectory. He warns her, his voice low and measured, about the dangers of her path. Revenge, Eve, he intones, is a dish best served. Well, you know the cliché. But it's also a path that rarely ends where one expects. He implies that her targets are not just petty criminals, but individuals connected to the higher echelons of the high table. Forces far more powerful than she might realize. Some doors, once opened, cannot be closed, he cautions, his eyes conveying a mix of concern and weary resignation. He grants her access to a secure decryption station, knowing full well she won't be deterred. He's seen this story play out before, countless times, with countless assassins. The soft hum of the Continental's oral landscape, a mix of hushed conversations and the gentle clinking of glasses, provides a strange counterpoint to the weight of Winston's words. Rooney, ever resolute, simply nods, her jaw set. She understands the risks, but the pull of vengeance is stronger than any warning. Inside the Continental's secure room, Rooney connects the data drive. The screen flickers to life, revealing a torrent of encrypted files. She works with practiced efficiency, her fingers dancing across the keyboard, a different kind of choreography. The drive contains a meticulously kept ledger, a digital chronicle of assassinations, payouts, and, most chillingly, a list of orders. As the data deciphers, names and faces begin to appear, familiar high-table operatives, shadowy intermediaries, and then a breakthrough. The ledger details the coordinated strike against her orphanage, listing the operatives involved and the specific parameters of the hit. It's all there, laid bare. The auditory details here are just the rhythmic clicks of the keyboard and the soft hum of the server, amplifying the silent dread of the revelations. Then, the final, most devastating piece of information surfaces, not just who pulled the trigger, but who ordered the hit. A name, a face, belonging to a previously unknown high-ranking high-table member named the choreographer. Oh, The irony, a choreographer ordering a hit on a ballerina's family. This isn't some low-level thug. This is someone with immense power and influence, someone deeply entrenched in the system. The screen flashes a cold, almost regal portrait of a man, his eyes devoid of warmth, a chilling smirk playing on his lips. This man orchestrated the murder of her family, not for a personal vendetta, but as a calculated act of power consolidation, eliminating a rogue orphanage that dared to operate outside strict high-table control. The realization hits Rooney like a physical blow. Her targets are now clearer, but infinitely more dangerous. The game has just been elevated, from a personal vendetta to a full-blown war against a high-table elder. The soft, elegant music piped into the Continental's secure room feels utterly out of place against the backdrop of such brutal revelations. It's almost a taunt. The first name on the choreographer's ledger, after Kirill, is a notorious enforcer known as the Apex. He operates from a lavish penthouse high above the city, a testament to his ill-gotten gains. Rooney, never one for subtlety when the situation calls for a grand entrance, doesn't bother with the front door. We see her rappelling down the shimmering glass facade of the skyscraper. The city lights a dizzying blur beneath her. With a perfectly timed kick, she shatters a floor-to-ceiling window, the explosion of glass a brief, sharp punctuation mark in the night silence. She lands gracefully inside, shards of glass still raining down around her, surveying the opulent, overly modern apartment. The Apex is there, surrounded by his own personal security detail, obviously enjoying a late-night drink and likely contemplating how many puppies he could kick. His guards, burly and heavily armed, react instantly, weapons drawn. The air fills with the metallic click of safeties disengaging. But Rooney is faster. She moves with a savage elegance, weaving through the hail of bullets, her dual pistols spitting fire. The crack of gunfire echoes through the expansive room, mixed with the sharp thwack of her silenced rounds, finding their marks. It's a whirlwind of close-quarters combat, kicks, punches, disarmament, and lethal shots. A guard lunges, his knife glinting, and Rooney parries with a balletic spin, ending with a precise strike that drops him instantly. The fight choreography here is breathtaking, each movement economical yet devastating, a perfect fusion of balletic agility and raw, brutal force. The distinct thump of bodies hitting expensive marble floors becomes a grim rhythm. She's not just fighting. She's expressing her rage, her grief, her need for vengeance with every single, deadly move. Having dealt with the Apex, Rooney grabs his data chip, another piece of the puzzle, and makes a swift exit. But the high table isn't known for letting things go quietly. As she peels away in a vintage muscle car, because what self-respecting action hero doesn't have one? A sleek black SUV full of high-table operatives is already on her tail. The chase is on, and it's a symphony of screeching tires, roaring engines, and a truly impressive amount of property damage. They tear through the rain-slicked city streets, the cityscape blurring into streaks of neon. The guttural roar of her engine vies with the insistent blare of car horns and the sudden, sharp explosions of controlled detonations. She weaves through oncoming traffic like a professional dancer, somehow finding gaps that don't seem to exist, her hands a blur on the steering wheel. The SUV, relentless, tries to box her in, firing suppressed rounds that ping off her car's reinforced chassis with a series of sharp clinks. At one point, she executes a death-defying handbrake turn, sliding sideways to avoid a head-on collision with a city bus. The loud, squealing tires and the shocked gasps of pedestrians are perfectly audible. A stray bullet punctures one of her tires with a loud hiss, but she expertly corrects, never losing control. The car chase is a masterclass in controlled chaos, each near miss making you audibly wince. There's a moment where she grins, a flash of exhilaration cutting through her grim determination, perhaps a little fast and furious fun in the midst of her vengeance quest. It's not just a chase, it's a test of skill, nerves, and sheer driving prowess, proving that Rooney is just as deadly behind the wheel as she is with a pistol or a ballet slipper, after shaking off her pursuers with a frankly ridiculous but undeniably awesome stunt involving a collapsing parking garage. The satisfying crunch of metal on concrete was a real highlight. Rooney retreats to a secluded safe house. It's nondescript, functional, and probably smells faintly of antiseptic and desperation. Here, in the quiet, she finally has a moment to breathe and assess her progress. She patches up a superficial bullet graze on her arm, the quiet snip of the bandages and the soft thud of medical supplies reinforcing the solitude. Her hideout is plastered with maps, photos, and a web of red string connecting various names and locations, a classic assassin's war room. Complete with flickering laptop screens and takeaway coffee cups, she downloads and decrypts the Apex's data chip, revealing more names, more connections, and a disturbing pattern. The choreographer's influence stretches far wider than she initially thought, manipulating various crime syndicates and high-table operations. This isn't just a personal hit. It's a strategic move to destabilize key players and consolidate power. It's all very Game of Thrones, but with more immediate, less metaphorical stabbings. The information paints a chilling picture of an intricate web of power and betrayal. She identifies her next target, a high-table accountant named the Ledger, a man who handles the choreographer's finances and, therefore, knows where all the bodies are buried. Metaphorically speaking, of course. The soft click of her mouse and the gentle hum of the laptop are the only sounds as she meticulously plans her next strike. She reviews combat footage, mentally rehearsing her moves, her eyes alight with a cold, analytical fire. The quiet solitude is a double-edged sword. It offers peace, but also amplifies the echoes of her past. The Ledger, a man of refined tastes and utterly despicable morals, is attending an exclusive gala at a prestigious city museum. This isn't just a social event, it's a display of wealth and influence, making it the perfect hunting ground for Rooney. She arrives not in a combat suit, but disguised in an elegant gown blending seamlessly with the elite crowd. The delicate clink of champagne glasses and the low murmur of sophisticated chatter fill the air, contrasting sharply with the tension building within Rooney. Her goal isn't just to eliminate the Ledger, but to extract vital financial data. As the gala reaches its peak, Rooney slips away, entering the museum's restricted areas. The security is state-of-the-art, a labyrinth of laser grids, motion sensors, and silent alarms. But Rooney, as we've come to expect, is a master of infiltration. She navigates the complex security system with breathtaking precision. We see her disable a laser grid with a small, specialized device, the software of the gadget the only sound as the red beams vanish. She moves like a phantom, her silk dress barely rustling, her feet making no sound on the polished marble floors. It's a ballet of stealth, each movement calculated and graceful. She avoids guards slipping past them with unnerving ease, often hiding in plain sight behind ancient artifacts. The scent of old stone and polished wood fills the air, lending an almost sacred atmosphere to her profane mission. Her destination, the Ledger's private office, discreetly tucked away within the museum, where he keeps his most sensitive financial records. The quiet tension is almost unbearable, a slow burn of anticipation as she gets closer to her objective. Rooney finally reaches the Ledger's private office, a minimalist space of glass and chrome filled with glowing screens displaying complex financial data. The Ledger himself is there, hunched over his desk, engrossed in his digital ledgers. He looks up, startled, as Rooney steps in, her elegant gown doing little to mask the cold fury in her eyes. The soft click of her pistol being cocked breaks the silence. "You have something I need," she states, her voice low and steady, not a whisper, not a shout, just pure, controlled menace. The Ledger, a man used to manipulating numbers, not facing a very real, very angry assassin, pales. He tries to bluster, to deny, but the glint in Rooney's eye tells him this isn't a negotiation. She demands access to his secure server, the one detailing the choreographer's true financial network, and, more importantly, a list of assets that could be seized by the high table under her unwavering gaze. He nervously types, his fingers fumbling on the keyboard. The rhythmic tap-tap-tap of the keys is the only sound, highlighting the palpable tension. He tries to trick her, to activate a silent alarm, but Rooney, ever vigilant, catches the subtle shift in his posture, the slight hesitation. A swift, brutal strike to his hand with the butt of her pistol forces him back into line, a sharp crack echoing in the room. He screams a short, sharp cry of pain, but continues to comply. Once the data is secured, a massive download detailing offshore accounts, shell corporations, and shadowy investments, Rooney delivers her judgment. "This is for my family," she whispers, before a single, suppressed gunshot. A soft thwack ends the ledger's career permanently. She leaves him slumped over his desk, another piece of the puzzle retrieved, another name crossed off her list. The elegant silence of the museum briefly returns, undisturbed. Back at the Continental, Rooney meets Winston in a secluded, dimly lit study, the kind of room where secrets are born and buried. She lays out the ledger's data, a veritable treasure trove of financial malfeasance and high table manipulation. Winston, ever the picture of controlled gravitas, examines the files, his brow furrowed. The rustle of paper and the soft click of his glasses settling on his nose are the only sounds. "This is more than just consolidation, Eve," he states, his voice grave. "This is an attempted coup." The choreographer seeks to dismantle the existing power structure piece by piece. By exposing weaknesses and controlling the flow of information and currency, he reveals that the choreographer isn't just acting alone. He has powerful allies, a silent faction within the high table itself. There's a whisper of a traitor, someone positioned to help him achieve this. Winston confides, his voice barely above a murmur. "This isn't just a personal vendetta anymore. It's a direct threat to the fragile balance of power that keeps the underworld from collapsing into total anarchy." The weight of this revelation hangs heavy in the air. Rooney realizes the stakes are far higher than she ever imagined. Her personal quest for revenge has inadvertently placed her in the middle of a power struggle that could reshape the entire criminal landscape. It's almost comical in a morbid way. How one woman's revenge mission can cause such widespread panic in an organization that practically invented the term panic room. Winston provides her with a list of potential high-table dissenters, individuals who might be aiding the choreographer, hinting that her next target should be a high-ranking enforcer known as the Architect, a master of surveillance and data, someone who could confirm the identity of the traitor. The Architect operates from a sprawling, heavily fortified server farm, a modern-day digital fortress hidden deep within the city's underbelly. It's a stark contrast to the old-world charm of the Continental, all humming servers, blinking lights, and the faint, cold scent of ozone. This place is a monument to information control, protected by layers of both physical and digital security. Rooney arrives not with guns blazing, but with a carefully planned stealth approach. She infiltrates the complex, bypassing biometric scanners and retina locks with a combination of old-school lock-picking, the subtle click of tumblers, falling, and cutting-edge tech. Once inside, she faces a labyrinth of humming server racks, each one a potential trap. Laser grids crisscross the narrow aisles, silently waiting for an intrusion. She moves like a phantom, her silhouette barely disturbing the air, her ballet training allowing her to contort her body through impossibly tight spaces. The low, incessant hum of the servers is a constant, almost hypnotic backdrop, punctuated by the occasional soft whir of a cooling fan. This place is designed to detect even the slightest anomaly. Rooney's goal isn't just to reach the Architect, but to penetrate his main server. Hoping to find the proof of the traitor within the high table, she has to hack into various terminals along the way, her fingers flying across virtual keyboards, a silent ding confirming each successful bypass. It's a high-stakes game of digital cat and mouse, where one wrong move could trigger a full lockdown, trapping her inside with an army of highly skilled digital guardians. The air is thick with anticipation, the quiet tension of a hacker working against the clock, amplified by the relentless hum of the machines. Rooney finally breaches the Architect's inner sanctum, a bizarre chamber filled with dozens of flickering monitors, all displaying streams of data, surveillance feeds, and network schematics. The Architect himself is almost part of the machinery, strapped into a high-tech chair, wires connecting to his skull, his face bathed in the eerie glow of the screens. It's like something out of a cyberpunk nightmare, if cyberpunk had more ballet-infused violence. He looks up, his eyes bloodshot, a startled grunt escaping his lips as Rooney enters. He doesn't wield a gun, but his hands hover over a holographic keyboard, ready to unleash a digital onslaught. "You shouldn't be here," he hisses, his voice distorted by an implanted modulator. A low whine fills the room as he activates his defenses. A barrage of automated turrets emerge from the walls, their targeting lasers painting red dots across Rooney's body. This isn't just a fight. It's a battle against an intelligent system. She dodges the incoming fire, the sharp crack of the turret's bullets chipping away at the walls, as she simultaneously hacks into his system, trying to override his controls. Her movements are frantic yet precise, a desperate dance against technology. The air fills with the whine of turrets, the ping of incoming data, and the occasional zap of a stray electrical current. She uses her environment, kicking over server racks that crash down with a resounding clatter, creating temporary cover. It's a brutal ballet of bullets and bites. Finally, she manages to disable his controls. The turrets falling silent with a synchronized thunk. She then subdues the architect, tearing the wires from his head with a sharp rip. He screams, a raw, primal sound, as she forces him to reveal the traitor's identity. The screen flickers, revealing the shocking face of a venerated high-table elder. The revelation is a gut punch, confirming Winston's suspicions and deepening the conspiracy. With the architect subdued and his systems breached, the final, most damning piece of information is retrieved. A holographic display flickers to life, showing not just the choreographer, but standing beside him, a revered high-table elder, seemingly a pillar of the organization's ancient traditions. This isn't just any elder. This is someone whose name commands respect, someone believed to be above such petty power plays. The image shows them in a clandestine meeting, the elder passing a data chip to the choreographer, a silent agreement solidifying their alliance. The implications are staggering. This elder, revered for centuries, has betrayed the very principles the high table stands for, all to consolidate power through the choreographer. The revelation sends a chill down Rooney's spine. It's not just a plot. It's a betrayal of the highest order, a cancer at the heart of the system. The slow, deliberate whir of the holographic projector and the soft click of the data confirming its authenticity are the only sounds in the otherwise silent, ravaged server room. The betrayal is a bitter pill to swallow, adding another layer of complexity to her revenge. Her mission has evolved beyond simple vengeance. It's now about exposing a deep-seated corruption that threatens to unravel the entire underworld. She knows her next move must be decisive, and it must target not just the choreographer, but the elder who enabled him. The scope of her vengeance has expanded, and with it, the danger. It's almost like discovering your favorite TV show character was a villain all along, deeply disappointing, but makes for great drama. Armed with the truth, Rooney retreats, not to hide, but to prepare. Her safe house transforms into a veritable armory. The scene opens with a close-up of her hands, deftly cleaning and assembling an array of high-caliber weapons, pistols, submachine guns, a formidable sniper rifle, and an assortment of razor-sharp knives. The metallic clink of parts fitting together, the smooth whir of a scope being adjusted, the soft click of a magazine locking into place. Every sound is precise, deliberate. She reviews tactical maps, marking entry points, escape routes, and potential enemy strongholds. This isn't just a mission. It's an infiltration, a siege, and a personal war. She's not just an assassin anymore. She's a one-woman army, meticulously planning her assault on the choreographer and his high-table elder ally. She gathers specialized gear, explosives, the quiet thump of plastic explosives being laid out, breaching charges a soft hiss as she checks the detonator, and a custom-made combat suit designed for both agility and protection. The weight of her mission is etched on her face, but there's also a cold, unwavering resolve. She trains not just in combat, but in strategy, anticipating every possible counter-move. The silence of the safe house is broken only by the sounds of her preparations, a grim symphony of impending battle. She knows the odds are stacked against her, but the thought of her family, the memory of their lives cut short, fuels her determination. This is it, the final act of her ballet of vengeance, and she intends to make it a performance no one will ever forget. And yes, she probably has a perfectly curated combat playlist ready to go in her head. Because who doesn't fight better with a good soundtrack? The stage for the final confrontation is set, a lavish, masked ball hosted by the treacherous High Table Elder himself, an event designed to project an image of power and invulnerability. It's a meticulously organized affair, a gathering of the underworld's elite, all cloaked in anonymity behind ornate masks. Rooney, disguised in a stunning, yet practical, black gown, her own mask a simple, elegant piece, enters the grand ballroom. The air vibrates with the live orchestral music, the rustle of expensive fabrics, and the low, secretive murmurs of powerful individuals. The delicate clink of crystal against crystal, the soft swish of dancers gliding across the polished floor, it all provides a deceptively peaceful backdrop to the storm she's about to unleash. She moves through the throng, scanning faces, identifying potential threats and key targets. Her eyes, the only visible part of her face, are sharp and alert. She spots the choreographer, his posture radiating a smug confidence, surrounded by his own retinue of bodyguards. The elder is also present, holding court in a secluded alcove, his presence a magnet for the city's power players. The irony of seeking revenge amidst such elegance is almost poetic. It's a dance of deception, a dangerous game of who's who behind the masks. Every casual bump, every fleeting glance, could be a moment of recognition, a prelude to chaos. The soft swoosh of a passing servant, the distant thump of a bass drum, every sound heightens the tension. She blends, she observes, she waits for the opportune moment to strike, a predator moving among the unsuspecting prey. The weight of her hidden weapons, subtly integrated into her attire, is a constant reminder of her true purpose. The moment arrives. Rooney, having navigated the throngs and positioned herself strategically, makes her move. With a subtle, almost imperceptible flick of her wrist, she activates a miniature projector hidden within her glove. A software as it comes to life. Then, onto the grand, frescoed ceiling of the ballroom, a holographic image flickers into existence. It's the incriminating footage from the architect's data, the High Table Elder, deep in conversation with the choreographer, discussing their plot, their faces clear, their words captured. The elegant orchestral music falters, then dies. The chatter ceases, replaced by a collective gasp, a ripple of shock and disbelief spreading through the opulent hall. The delicate clink of a dropped champagne glass is shockingly loud in the sudden silence. All eyes turn upwards, then to the elder, who stands frozen, his face a mask of shock and rage. The choreographer, equally stunned, starts to draw his weapon, but it's too late. The truth is out. The betrayal is exposed. The High Table, built on honor and tradition, now sees one of its most revered members revealed as a traitor. The air crackles with tension, a palpable shift from lavish celebration to imminent conflict. The collective murmur of the shocked crowd slowly builds, turning into angry whispers. Rooney, standing still amidst the chaos she has unleashed, watches the scene unfold, her expression unreadable. This isn't just about revenge anymore. It's about justice, about tearing down the foundations of a corrupted power. The first domino has fallen, and the subsequent crash is about to begin. It's a mic-drop moment, but with way more potential for a massacre. The reveal shatters the illusion of peace. The choreographer's bodyguards, recovering from their shock, draw their weapons, their movements a jarring contrast to the elegance of the ballroom. The elder's personal security, initially confused, quickly aligned to protect their master. The ballroom transforms into a war zone in a heartbeat. Rooney, anticipating this, doesn't hesitate. With a powerful leap, a move born from her ballet training, she springs onto a grand crystal chandelier, sending a shower of glittering dust down upon the now panicked crowd. From her elevated position, she unleashes a barrage of suppressed gunfire, targeting the choreographer's most immediate threats. The crack of her shots is sharp and precise, cutting through the sudden screams of the fleeing socialites. The choreographer, regaining his composure, returns fire, his own rounds chipping away at the chandelier with sharp pings. The air fills with the chaotic symphony of gunfire, the deep thump of a shotgun, the rapid rat-a-tat-tat of automatic weapons, and the desperate cries of the injured. People scatter, overturning ornate tables with a crash, sending expensive china and food flying. The beautiful, classical music is replaced by the deafening roar of battle. Rooney descends from the chandelier, landing in a graceful roll, instantly engaging multiple targets in brutal hand-to-hand combat. Her movements are a deadly dance, parrying, striking, disarming, always moving. The thwack of her kicks, the crunch of bone, the metallic clang of her knives against her enemy's firearms. Every sound paints a vivid picture of the carnage. It's a ballroom blitz, a high society massacre, and Rooney is at its deadly, elegant center. The sheer scale of the chaos is astounding, a testament to how quickly order can crumble when the right fuse is lit. Amidst the swirling maelstrom of bullets and bodies, Rooney catches a glimpse of the high table elder. He's making a desperate dash for an emergency exit, flanked by a dwindling number of his loyal guards. Their expressions a mix of fear and grim determination. He's not running like a man of power, but a cornered rat. Rooney knows the choreographer is a threat, but the elder is the architect of her family's destruction, the ultimate prize. With a shift in focus, she abandons the main fight, leaving a trail of dispatched goons in her wake. The thunderous boom of a breaching charge from one of her planted explosives rocks the building, sending dust and debris raining down with a harsh patter. She pursues the elder through the museum's collapsing corridors, the ancient building groaning under the strain of the battle. The crash of falling statues and the shattering of display cases punctuate her chase. The elder's guards are well trained, laying down suppressing fire, forcing Rooney to duck and weave, the whiz of bullets narrowly missing her head. One guard attempts a desperate melee attack, his heavy fist connecting with a sickening thud against a priceless vase rather than Rooney's jaw. She dispatches them with brutal efficiency, her movements fueled by a cold, burning rage. The chase is relentless, a high-stakes game of cat and mouse through a collapsing labyrinth of art and destruction. The elder, surprisingly agile for his age, knows these hidden passages, but Rooney is relentless. The metallic scrape of her boots on the debris-strewn floor is a constant reminder of her pursuit. This isn't just a chase. It's a race against time and structural integrity, as the museum slowly gives way to the battle within its walls. Rooney corners the elder in a desolate, windswept section of the museum's rooftop, only for the choreographer to appear, cutting off her escape route. "Did you really think I'd let you have him that easily?" He sneers, his voice carrying on the wind. The cold, crisp whoosh of the wind is a stark auditory contrast to the silence that falls between them. The elder, seizing the opportunity, attempts to escape across the rooftops, leaving Rooney to face the choreographer alone. This is it, the final dance, a confrontation between two masters of their craft, each driven by their own twisted sense of purpose. The city lights twinkle below, a glittering, indifferent backdrop to their personal war. The choreographer is not just an administrator. He's a highly skilled assassin, and he demonstrates it immediately. He wields a pair of ornate, razor-sharp blades, moving with a fluid, almost balletic grace that mirrors Rooney's own training. The metallic sheen of his blades as he draws them is chilling. Their fight is a brutal, intricate dance, a duel of precision and power. The clash of metal on metal rings out across the rooftop, punctuated by the sharp thwack of kicks and the swoosh of near misses. Rooney, using her balletic agility, dodges and parries, her movements a blur of defensive and offensive strikes. It's a beautifully choreographed sequence, each move calculated, each counter-move devastating. He's strong, relentless, and just as determined as she is. This isn't just a physical fight. It's a clash of ideologies, of vengeance versus ambition. The raw grunt of effort from both combatants is audible as they exchange blows, each strike carrying the weight of their entire struggle. The rooftop fight is a testament to both of their deadly skills, a visually stunning, emotionally charged culmination of their paths. After a grueling, brutal fight, a true symphony of violence, Rooney finally gains the upper hand on the choreographer. With a decisive move, a perfectly executed disarm, and a brutal counter-strike, the sickening crunch of impact is hard to miss. She neutralizes him, leaving him battered and broken on the rooftop. No time for dramatic monologues or gloating, though. Her primary target, the Elder, is still making his escape. She races across the rooftop, leaping across treacherous gaps, propelled by sheer will and adrenaline. She finds the Elder teetering on the very edge of the museum's roof, trying to shimmy down a drainpipe, a surprisingly undignified exit for such a powerful figure. He's frail, pathetic even, stripped of his power and his guards. Rooney grabs him, pulling him back, holding him precariously over the dizzying drop, hundreds of feet above the city's streets. The guttural gasp of fear from the Elder is a satisfying sound for Rooney. "This is for my family," she whispers, her voice devoid of emotion, a cold, hard finality in her tone. The wind whips around them, a mournful howl that seems to carry the echoes of her past. He begs, he pleads, he offers untold riches, but Rooney is beyond negotiation. Her vengeance is complete. With a decisive, emotionless push, she releases him. His final, desperate scream is cut short as he plummets into the abyss, the thud of his body hitting the distant ground lost in the city's cacophony. No more secrets, no more betrayals, just silence. It's a dark ending, sure, but sometimes villains just need to fall, literally. The chilling silence that follows is a testament to the weight of her actions, a stark monument to her achieved vengeance. As the first rays of dawn paint the ravaged city in hues of orange and pink, Rooney stands alone on the museum rooftop. The building below is a wreck, a testament to the night's brutal ballet. The sirens wail in the distance, slowly converging, but they are still far away. She is battered, bruised, and utterly exhausted, but the burning intensity in her eyes has softened. The whoosh of the morning wind through her hair is a gentle caress, a stark contrast to the violence of the preceding hours. She achieved her vengeance. She brought down the choreographer and the corrupt Elder, exposing their treachery and exacting her pound of flesh. But at what cost? The silence, now that the screaming has stopped, is deafening, filled only by the echoes of her past and the distant sounds of a waking city. A single tear, perhaps of sorrow, perhaps of weary relief, traces a path down her cheek. The satisfaction of revenge is a hollow victory, a truth many assassins learn the hard way. It doesn't bring back the dead. It only leaves a new emptiness. The faint chirp of birds beginning their morning song provides a poignant contrast to the grim reality of her profession. She looks out at the sprawling metropolis, a world she has both protected and brutalized, realizing that her journey isn't over. Her family's memory is honored, but the underworld continues, and so does she, forever a ballerina in a world of assassins, forever dancing on the edge of the abyss. The rising sun seems to offer a new, albeit bloodstained, beginning. It's a complicated ending for a complicated character, proving that even in a world of black and white contracts, the lines are always blurred months later. The dust has settled, both literally and figuratively. Rooney is seen in a new, anonymous city, far from the direct fallout of her vengeance. She's dressed not in an elegant gown or combat gear, but in understated, practical clothes, blending seamlessly into the bustling urban landscape. The cacophony of street noise, the honk of taxis, the chatter of pedestrians, the distant rumble of a subway surrounds her, but she moves with a newfound sense of purpose, a quiet resolve. Winston's warnings about the path of revenge ring true, but Rooney has emerged from the crucible transformed. She didn't just survive. She redefined her role, not merely as a tool of vengeance, but as an agent of balance in a world perpetually teetering on the brink of chaos. She walks with confidence, her movements still graceful, but now imbued with a harder edge, a quiet strength forged in fire. She has found a new purpose, perhaps aligning with Winston, or forging her own path as a force for a different kind of justice within the High Table's shadows. The film hints at her future, not as a broken avenger, but as a formidable new player, ready to stand against the next great threat to the underworld's fragile peace. The soft click of her heels on the pavement is the last sound as she disappears into the crowd, a subtle yet powerful testament to her enduring legacy. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where our ballerina leaves us, ready for her next act, whenever that may be. You know, I just realized this entire movie could probably be summed up as ballet with more explosions, But seriously, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. This journey with Rooney has been a brutal, beautiful dance, reminding us that even in the darkest corners, grace can coexist with grit. And a single individual's resolve can indeed reshape an entire world. It's a powerful narrative about finding one's purpose even after profound loss, and carving out your own future, pirouette by violent pirouette. Until next time, stay safe, and maybe don't try any of these moves at home. Unless you're a trained professional, then by all means, dazzle us. Today we're diving into the sleek, deadly world of Ballerina 2025, where plies meet pistol whips. This flick spins the tale of Rooney, a young woman whose life is a delicate balance of elegant ballet and brutal vengeance. From the quiet grace of a pirouette to the explosive force of a well-placed punch, this movie redefines killing it on stage and off. I put a lot of work into these, so if you like what you see, a like and a subscribe is always appreciated. No worries if not. We open on Rooney, a vision of disciplined grace, performing on a stage that's as much a training ground as it is a performance space. Her movements are fluid, each gesture precise, hinting at a deadly efficiency beneath the beauty. But don't let the tutus fool you. This isn't your grandma's ballet recital. Flashbacks intercut, showing us fragments of her past, a quiet, watchful child, an unspeakable tragedy, and the stern, unyielding embrace of the Ruska Roma organization, a unique network where orphans are forged into deadly operatives. The director, a formidable matriarch with eyes that could freeze a volcano, takes Rooney under her wing, transforming a traumatized girl into a weapon in the Spartan confines of her room. A stark contrast to the opulent theater stages. Rooney meticulously sifts through old documents and newspaper clippings. The air is thick with unspoken grief, a simmering rage, a palpable tension you could cut with a butter knife, or, a very sharp assassin's blade. Her fingers trace the faded image of her family, a warmth that was brutally extinguished. She discovers what was presented as a tragic accident was, in fact, a calculated hit, orchestrated by shadowy figures in the criminal underworld. The metallic scent of blood, a phantom memory, seems to cling to the newspaper print. A single, defiant tear escapes her eye, a tiny stream of sorrow against the hardened resolve etched on her face. This isn't just about justice. It's about a deep, gut-wrenching ache that demands an answer, an eye for an eye in the most literal sense. The world she inhabits, already morally gray, suddenly sharpens into stark black and white, leaving her with one clear purpose: to hunt down those responsible. It's a classic revenge tale, but with more pirouettes and less hammy monologues, which, let's be honest, is a refreshing change of pace. Now, this isn't your typical training montage with inspiring music and slow-motion push-ups. Oh no, Rooney's regimen is a ballet of brutality, a symphony of pain. We see her pushing her body to its absolute limits, gravity-defying leaps that morph into swift takedowns, the graceful sweep of her leg becoming a bone-shattering kick. The whoosh of a silk scarf is replaced by the thwack of a practice dummy taking a beating. Each piece strengthens her core for a powerful strike. Every fouette enhances her balance for a dizzying, disorienting attack. Her movements are an intricate dance, seamlessly blending the elegance of ballet with the deadly efficiency of a seasoned assassin. The constant ache in her muscles, the sweat stinging her eyes, it all fuels her transformation. The director watches from the shadows, a silent, approving nod as Rooney masters her unique blend of art and annihilation. It's like watching a professional dancer prepare for the Olympics, but instead of a gold medal, the prize is sweet, sweet vengeance. And probably some serious post-workout stretches. Because nobody wants a pulled hamstring when you're trying to take down a crime lord. Her first step into the deep end of the revenge pool takes her to a pulsing, neon-soaked nightclub, a cacophony of throbbing bass and flashing lights. Disguised with quiet confidence, Rooney moves through the throng of dancing bodies like a shadow, her senses sharp, picking up on the subtle cues of her target. The man, a smug, low-level associate named Victor, is oblivious, engrossed in his own self-importance. With a brush past, she subtly slips a miniature tracker into his jacket pocket, the action as smooth and imperceptible as a balletic port de bras. Later, in a grimy, rain-slicked alleyway, the tracker leads her to Victor. The air is cold, carrying the damp scent of concrete and exhaust. Victor, caught off guard, stumbles backwards as Rooney emerges from the darkness, a figure of silent menace. The ensuing fight is brutal and swift. The crack of her fist connecting with his jaw, the gasp as he struggles for breath, the quick, decisive snap that ends his life. It's not graceful, it's efficient, a chilling demonstration of her newly honed skills. No grand speeches, no dramatic flair, just cold, hard, definitive justice. Or, cold, hard, definitive murder, depending on your perspective. Either way, Victor won't be ordering another round with Victor out of the picture. Rooney's hunt leads her to a grimy, smoke-filled backroom of a rundown casino, a place where fortunes are lost and secrets are sold for a dime. Her target, a twitchy, paranoid informant named Lenny, whose face is a roadmap of bad decisions. The atmosphere is thick with the cloying smell of stale cigarettes and desperation. Rooney, ever the picture of controlled intensity, corners Lenny. His initial bluster quickly dissolves into a pathetic whimper under her icy gaze. She doesn't need to shout. Her presence alone is enough to make his knees buckle. The scene is a masterclass in silent intimidation, a delicate dance of power where one wrong step for Lenny means a very bad day. A quick, precise thump as her knee connects with his, a sharp gasp of pain, and suddenly Lenny is singing like a canary, spilling names, dates, and locations. The way she extracts information is almost artistic, a grim choreography of pain and persuasion. He practically begs to give her the intel, clearly preferring a few broken bones to whatever silent horrors she might have in store. It's a reminder that sometimes the quiet ones are the scariest, and probably don't do small talk. As Rooney delves deeper, the web of conspiracy stretches further than she imagined. Needing guidance or at least a few well-placed breadcrumbs, she finds herself, inevitably, at the hallowed halls of the Continental. The familiar, hushed elegance of the hotel is a stark contrast to the gritty alleys she's been navigating, a brief respite from the constant thump-thump-thump of her vengeful heart. Winston, ever the stoic gatekeeper of this secret world, greets her with a knowing look, a slight tilt of his head. There are no dramatic declarations, no lengthy exposition, just a quiet exchange of glances and a few carefully chosen words. He offers her cryptic advice, speaking in riddles that only those initiated in the arcane rules of the underworld can truly comprehend. The clink of ice in his glass seems to echo in the silent space between them. He doesn't directly aid her, but rather nudges her in the right direction, providing a metaphorical compass in her sea of vengeance. The subtle way he slides a gleaming continental coin across the polished bar towards her speaks volumes, a silent acknowledgement of her journey and a reminder of the unspoken rules. It's like visiting your wise old uncle who only speaks in proverbs, but those proverbs usually save your life. Handy that *** armed with Winston's subtle insights and Lenny's not-so-subtle screams. Rooney sets her sights on the Iron Palace, a monolithic skyscraper that serves as a gleaming, deceptive front for her enemies. Under the cloak of night, the city lights reflecting off its glass facade like cold, unfeeling eyes, she begins her ascent. This isn't climbing. It's an aerial ballet, a silent symphony of stealth. The whir of her grappling hook, the soft scrape of her tactical boots against the steel, are the only sounds breaking the night's silence. She navigates laser grids with the precision of a surgeon, sidesteps motion sensors with the grace of a gazelle, and disables cameras with a flick of her wrist, leaving no trace. The click-clack of security doors locking and unlocking under her nimble fingers is a rhythm of impending chaos. Every step, every breath is measured, a testament to her rigorous training. It's like watching a real-life mission, impossible, but with more intense emotional stakes and probably fewer goofy masks. The tension is so thick you could probably use it as a flotation device. She's not just breaking in. She's dancing through a digital minefield, each move a calculated risk, each moment a step closer to the truth. Just as Rooney reaches the heart of the Iron Palace, the server room, a cacophony of whirring fans and blinking lights, she's ambushed. A squad of heavily armed guards bursts in, their weapons clattering as they ready for a fight. But Rooney isn't one for fair fights. She's in it to win. The room transforms into her stage, the server racks and flickering monitors becoming props in her deadly performance. The thud of a body hitting a metal panel, the grunt of an assailant as she deflects a blow, the clatter of a dropped weapon, these are the percussive elements of her lethal dance. She uses her surroundings with brutal efficiency, leveraging server racks as leverage points for dizzying kicks, deflecting bullets with a swift roll behind a databank. Her movements are a blur of precision and power, each strike delivered with surgical accuracy. The guards, heavily armored and trained, are bewildered by her speed and ferocity, their brute force no match for her elegant savagery. The scent of ozone from the electronics mixes with the metallic tang of fear. It's like watching a ballet choreographed by a very angry, very talented ninja. By the time the dust settles, the room is a wreckage of broken tech and defeated bodies, and Rooney stands, barely winded, a silent testament to her lethal prowess. Take that, corporate security! Having left the server room in a state that would make any IT professional cry, Rooney makes her escape from the Iron Palace, rappelling back down into the urban sprawl. But just as she reaches the ground, a familiar shadow detaches itself from the deeper darkness of an alleyway. For a fleeting moment, her eyes lock with the Baba Yaga himself, John Wick, looking impeccably stylish even in the grim early hours. He's a silent, almost spectral presence, observing her with an intensity that speaks volumes without a single word being uttered. There's no greeting, no assistance offered, just a brief, almost imperceptible nod of acknowledgement. It's a passing of the torch, or perhaps a mutual understanding between two souls forever tethered to the brutal ballet of vengeance. The subtle whoosh of the wind carries his unspoken message. Keep going. You're on the right path. Then, as quickly as he appeared, he vanishes back into the urban labyrinth, leaving Rooney to ponder the implications of his silent vigil. It's a blink and you'll miss it moment, but it confirms she's operating in a league where the legends play, and probably get better dry cleaning bills to dot back in a makeshift safe house, a utilitarian space adorned with tactical maps and a high-tech monitor. Rooney delves into the data she's acquired. The silence of the room is broken only by the soft click-clack of her keyboard and the gentle hum of the display. What she uncovers is far more intricate and expansive than she initially conceived. A vast, sprawling network of criminal enterprises, intertwined like a sinister vine, all leading back to a single, enigmatic figure, the Handler. This isn't just about a local hit. It's a meticulously orchestrated conspiracy, a puppet master pulling strings across continents. The names, the faces, the illicit dealings, they all paint a picture of a power far greater and more insidious than she could have imagined. The realization hits her like a physical blow. Her family wasn't just collateral damage. They were a deliberate casualty in a much larger game. The weight of this revelation presses down on her. The thump-thump-thump of her heartbeat a frantic drum against the enormity of her task. It's enough to make anyone want to throw in the towel, but not Rooney. For her, it only sharpens her resolve, hardening her spirit with a cold, clear purpose. She's not just seeking revenge. She's preparing to unravel an empire. And let's be honest, empires are usually pretty bad at handling unraveling. Just ask the Romans. Even assassins, with their stone-cold exteriors, have moments of quiet despair. In a rare break from the relentless pursuit, Rooney finds herself alone in a dimly lit room, the silence pressing in around her like a physical weight. The shadows dance across her face, mirroring the internal conflict raging within. The constant thump-thump of her pulse against her temples is a persistent reminder of the lives she's taken, the choices she's made. Is this path of vengeance truly bringing her peace, or is it just cementing her place in an endless cycle of violence? The metallic tang of blood seems to linger in the air, a phantom scent of her recent kills. She grapples with the moral ambiguity of her actions, the blurred lines between justice and retribution. The elegant, precise movements of her ballet training now feel stained with the grim reality of her assassin's life. It's a raw, vulnerable moment, a quiet gasp of a soul wrestling with its demons. For a fleeting second, the urge to simply walk away, to leave this brutal world behind is overwhelming. But the memory of her family's smiling faces, forever frozen in time, pulls her back from the brink, rekindling the inferno of her resolve. It's a heavy burden, living a life where the only way out is usually through more creative problem-solving involving sharp objects. Who knew revenge was so emotionally taxing? Definitely not the guy who invented it. Her moment of doubt quickly subsides as a new target emerges, a cunning lieutenant of the Handler, a man known for his elusive nature and brutal efficiency. Rooney tracks him to a bustling, chaotic train station, a labyrinth of hurried commuters and echoing announcements. The roar of approaching trains, the squeal of brakes, the chatter of 1,000 conversations, it's the perfect camouflage for an assassin. Rooney, a chameleon in the crowd, moves with a purposeful grace, her eyes scanning for any hint of danger, any tell. She ambushes him on a moving platform, the suddenness of her attack catching him completely off guard. The ensuing fight is a masterclass in urban combat, a brutal dance amidst bewildered onlookers. The thud of bodies against a train car, the clatter of a dropped weapon, the gasp of a surprised commuter. These are the soundscape of their struggle. Rooney uses the environment to her advantage, ducking under railings, vaulting over benches, and even using the momentum of a moving train to amplify her strikes. Her balletic training shines through, each dodge and weave a testament to her agility. The lieutenant, a formidable opponent, pushes her to her limits, but Rooney's resolve, forged in grief, proves stronger. It's a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. Only the mouse is a highly trained ballerina with a penchant for pain. Score 1 for the avenging angel, and apologies to anyone who missed their connection. The train station skirmish was just a warm-up. Now, Rooney finds herself on a breathless, high-stakes chase across the rain-slicked rooftops of the city, the wind whooshing past her ears, the distant sirens a mournful chorus. Her pursuers, a relentless squad of enforcers, are hot on her heels, their heavy boots thudding against the gravel. This is where her ballet training truly shines. She doesn't just run. She leaps, she vaults, she slides, each movement a graceful yet desperate bid for survival. The thump-thump of her heart echoes the pounding of her feet as she navigates perilous ledges and dizzying gaps between skyscrapers, the sheer drop below a constant, terrifying reminder of the stakes. The chase spills into a vibrant, chaotic marketplace below, a sensory overload of shouting vendors, exotic spices, and the clatter of goods. Rooney weaves through the crowds, her movements a blur, engaging in quick, brutal bursts of hand-to-hand combat when necessary. The crack of a punch, the gasp of an assailant, the smash of a fruit stand, it's all part of her desperate escape. She's a ghost in a storm, a whirlwind of motion, leaving a trail of disoriented goons and probably some very confused tourists. It's less a chase and more a meticulously choreographed urban escape, proving that sometimes the best way to get away is to look fabulous while doing it. Just when Rooney thinks she might finally catch her breath, she's ambushed by another of the Handler's elite, a silent, masked assassin whose movements are as fluid and deadly as her own. Their duel takes place in the hushed, hallowed halls of an ancient library, a place usually reserved for the quiet rustle of turning pages, now echoing with the swish of blades and the thud of bodies. The irony is probably not lost on Rooney, but she's a little busy not dying. This isn't a brawl. It's a terrifyingly precise dance of death, each combatant mirroring the other's deadly grace. The clink of their weapons as they parry and thrust, the soft scrape of their feet on the polished floor, are the only sounds in the otherwise deafening silence. Rooney's balletic agility allows her to dodge and weave, using the towering bookshelves as cover and leverage. Her opponent, equally skilled, anticipates her every move, making for a truly nail-biting encounter. It's a battle of wits as much as strength, a high-stakes chess match where the pieces are actual people. The air is thick with anticipation, the tension so palpable you could almost hear it hum. When it's over, the silent assassin is defeated, and Rooney stands, victorious but weary, the silence of the library once again broken only by the thump-thump-thump of her own heart. Another day, another highly trained individual sent to turn her into a permanent resident of the local morgue. Good thing she's got great reflexes, eh? Bruised but unbowed, Rooney retreats to a secret safe house, a hidden den of operations nestled deep within the city's underbelly. It's a temporary sanctuary, a brief respite from the relentless pursuit. The clink of medical instruments, the soft swish of antiseptic wipes, an unexpected ally, a gruff but kind-hearted contact from the underworld, tends to her wounds. There's a palpable sense of exhaustion, but no surrender. Rooney, ever the strategist, pores over detailed blueprints and maps, tracing lines with her finger, planning her next decisive move. The soft hum of the server in the background and the gentle tap of her ally's actions are the only sounds. This isn't just about attacking, it's about dismantling. She meticulously plans her assault on the handler's main stronghold, anticipating every possible defense, every countermeasure. The stakes have never been higher, the target never clearer. It's a moment of calm before the storm, a strategic pause where the lines between hunter and hunted blur. She's not just a ballerina. She's a chess master, moving pieces across a deadly board, preparing for a final, breathtaking act. And honestly, after all that running and fighting, a little R&R and some advanced tactical planning sounds pretty good. Maybe even a protein shake. You know, for the gains. Just as Rooney finalizes her plans, a chilling click breaks the silence, not of a door, but of a hidden weapon being armed. Her ally, the gruff contact who had so kindly bandaged her wounds, turns on her, a cold, calculating glint in their eyes. The air thickens with betrayal, a sudden, gut-wrenching gasp of realization from Rooney. It's a twist that stings deeper than any physical blow, a harsh reminder that in this world, trust is a luxury few can afford. The comfortable hum of the safe house now feels like a mocking echo. A tense, emotional confrontation erupts, words exchanged like poisoned darts, each word carrying the weight of shattered trust. The fight that ensues is less about brute force and more about desperation and heartbreak. The thump of bodies against furniture, the clatter of dropped objects, are punctuated by Rooney's anguished cries. She's not just fighting for her life. She's fighting against the pain of a broken bond, the bitter taste of deception. It's a brutal reminder that the most dangerous enemies are often those closest to you, the ones you allow past your carefully constructed defenses. She barely escapes, wounded not just physically, but emotionally, leaving her with a renewed sense of isolation and a sharper edge of fury. Well, that's just rude, isn't it? Next time, maybe check their references. Wounded and reeling from the betrayal, Rooney has nowhere left to turn but deeper into the shadows, specifically to the hidden heart of the Rusker Roman network. She navigates ancient, dimly lit underground passages, the drip 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 of water echoing around her, until she reaches the director's inner sanctum. The air is thick with history and unspoken power. The director, ever the stoic matriarch, observes Rooney with an unreadable gaze, her silence more potent than any words. Rooney lays out her situation, the betrayal, the full scope of the handler's power. The director listens, a subtle click of her fingers signaling her operatives to action. This isn't charity. It's a strategic investment. The Rusker Roma network mobilizes, a silent army of skilled assassins and information brokers, providing Rooney with the crucial intel, weapons, and backup she needs for the final assault. The director, with a rare, almost imperceptible nod, reminds Rooney of the core tenets of their organization: balance, order, and retribution. It's a quiet understanding that resonates deeper than any grand speech. The fight ahead won't be hers alone. Turns out sometimes you just need a really good support network, especially when you're taking down a global crime syndicate. Family, even one forged in fire and ballet, always comes through the moment of truth arrives. Under the cover of a moonless night, Rooney, now a whirlwind of renewed resolve, leads a small, elite team of Rusker Roma operatives towards the handler's heavily fortified headquarters, a sprawling, imposing citadel that looks less like a building and more like a supervillain's lair. The air crackles with anticipation, the only sounds the thump-thump of their boots and the faint whoosh of the wind. This isn't just an infiltration, it's an invasion. Explosions boom as breaching charges detonate, tearing through reinforced walls, sending shrapnel clattering into the night. Rooney is at the forefront, her movements a blur of tactical precision and balletic ferocity. The rat-a-tat-tat of automatic gunfire erupts, met by the precise, deadly counterfire of her team. They sweep through the outer defenses, a ballet of choreographed chaos, each operative a specialized instrument of destruction. The scent of gunpowder and ozone fills the air. This is the culmination of Rooney's journey, a roaring symphony of vengeance conducted with the lethal precision of a prima ballerina. No more sneaking around. It's time to kick down the doors and invite herself in with extreme prejudice, and probably a stern talking to for the handler about property damage. Inside the Citadel, the battle escalates. Rooney and her team find themselves in a deadly gauntlet, battling through multiple waves of the handler's elite bodyguards, each one more skilled and vicious than the last. The opulent halls, adorned with priceless art and gleaming marble, become a brutal stage for her performance. The clatter of gunfire, the crash of bodies against ancient stone, the shattering of glass, it's a symphony of destruction. Rooney moves with incredible speed and agility, her ballet training allowing her to navigate the chaotic environment with a deadly grace. She dodges a whoosh of a blade, parries a thump of a fist, and counters with a dizzying array of kicks and strikes. She uses a grand chandelier as a pivot point for a spectacular aerial attack, sending guards sprawling. The grunts of effort, the gasps of pain are constant. Her stamina is incredible, her resolve unwavering, even as she pushes past her physical limits. She's not just fighting. She's a force of nature, an unstoppable storm of vengeance. The guards, with their disciplined formations and superior numbers, are systematically dismantled by her sheer ferocity and precision. It's like watching a dance-off, but with much higher stakes and significantly less disco lighting. More dislocated limbs than disco moves, really. After what feels like an eternity of brutal combat, Rooney finally breaches the handler's inner sanctum, a lavish, surprisingly serene private office. The creak of the heavy door opening reveals a figure of chilling elegance, standing with their back to her, silhouetted against a panoramic city view. The air in the room is heavy, thick with a tense, almost deafening silence. As the handler slowly turns, their face is revealed and Rooney's breath hitches. The mastermind behind her family's death, the architect of her suffering, is someone she knows, someone intimately connected to her past, a figure whose presence strikes a devastating blow to her already weary soul. The revelation is a sharp, painful gasp, a betrayal that cuts far deeper than any blade. It adds a profound, heartbreaking emotional layer to the conflict, turning a simple revenge quest into a deeply personal tragedy. The calm, almost dismissive look in the handler's eyes speaks volumes, confirming the cold-hearted nature of their actions. All the brutal training, all the bloodshed has led to this moment, a confrontation not just with a villain, but with a ghost from her past. Talk about adding insult to injury, right? When you find out the big bad boss is actually your old, well, you get the picture. It's never the mailman, is it? The lavish office transforms into a gladiatorial arena as Rooney and the handler engage in a brutal, extended dance of death. This isn't just a fight. It's a clash of ideologies, a battle fueled by years of pent-up rage and cold, calculated malice. The thud of bodies hitting expensive furniture, the crash of priceless decor, the tinkle of shattered glass, the room is systematically destroyed around them. The handler, revealed to be a formidable combatant, matches Rooney's every move, displaying a surprising agility and cunning. It's a testament to the fact that even the most elegant villain can pack a serious punch. Rooney, fueled by a searing, visceral fury, pushes herself beyond all physical limits. Her balletic moves are infused with a savage grace, each pirouette a deadly feint, each kick a bone-shattering strike. The whoosh of a deflected blade, the gasp of effort, the crack of a broken bone, the fight is raw, visceral, and utterly exhausting. The metallic tang of blood mixes with the scent of expensive perfume. It's a beautifully choreographed but devastatingly brutal ballet, a final, desperate struggle where both combatants give everything. The emotional weight of their shared past adds a searing intensity to every blow. When the dust finally settles and one combatant lies broken, the silence that follows is deafening, punctuated only by Rooney's ragged breaths. The price of vengeance is always high, and she just paid a hefty installment, with the handler finally defeated. The opulent office is a scene of utter devastation, a silent testament to the brutal conflict that just unfolded. Rooney stands amidst the wreckage, battered and bruised, but still standing, a silent victor. The city lights twinkle below, seemingly oblivious to the seismic shift that just occurred within its hidden underbelly. A single tear, a mix of grief, exhaustion, and perhaps a flicker of satisfaction, traces a path down her dust-smudged cheek. The silence is profound, heavy with the echoes of battle and the weight of her choices. Soon, the director arrives, her presence a calming, almost ethereal force amidst the chaos. She doesn't speak, but her knowing gaze conveys a quiet, unspoken understanding of Rooney's journey, her pain, and her new place within the Rusker Roma. There's a subtle offer of continued purpose, a path forward in this grim, beautiful world. Rooney has completed her mission, but her story, her dance with destiny, is far from over. The future is uncertain, but one thing is clear: the ballerina has found her rhythm, and it's a rhythm that moves to the beat of both grace and deadly precision. What a show, right? And so, our journey with Rooney concludes, not with a triumphant bang, but with a quiet, reflective step into an uncertain future. Having carved her path of vengeance, she now walks away from the immediate echoes of battle, into the anonymity of a bustling street. The weight of her past, the thump-thump-thump of every life taken, every betrayal endured, is still very much a part of her, a silent shadow. Yet there's a subtle shift in her stride, a newfound resolve in her gaze. She is no longer just a victim seeking retribution, nor just a tool of the Rusker Roma. She is Rooney, a woman who has endured fire and emerged, if not unscathed, then certainly forged anew. The world she inhabits is still dangerous, still unforgiving, but she has found her own unique rhythm within it. It's a powerful reminder that even in the darkest corners of existence, where violence and vengeance reign supreme, there's always the potential for self-discovery, for forging an identity from the ashes of your past. Her story teaches us that true strength isn't just about how hard you can hit, but how gracefully you can dance through the toughest storms, finding purpose and meaning in the aftermath of chaos. What an incredible journey, and a truly thought-provoking end to a killer story. Remember, life's a dance, even when it's deadly.